pick six, Keanu O'Neal with the hard hit. Get the ball back on offense. Watch Julio Jones keep moving the sticks. Calvin Ridley in for the score. We came back. We up 4. About to get in. Our victory stance. No coming back. We closing the door. ATL blackout. ATL blackout.
What's going on, football fans? It's time once again for another live rendition of the Pound for Pound. I'm your host, J.R. Clark. Up above me, as always, is Jimmy. Jimmy, take it away.
It's your boy Jimbo Dean, a.k.a. Jimbo Slice, a.k.a. Jimmy Obama. You can call me any one of those you want. But please do not call me no damn New Orleans Saints fan. Great victory. What's up, Big Mike? What's happening, baby?
It's your boy Big Mike Dub, man. Hey, MIKE_DUB. And you can call me whatever you want. Just don't call me the last place team in the division no more. Hey, talk to these people.
Well, as we stated when we were going through our 0-5 slide, I said then, I'll say it now, I would much rather talk about a winning team. I've had people come up to me throughout these last week or two talking about, oh man, they're messing up draft stock and they're messing up draft picks. Man, I ain't worried about draft picks, because as we've seen and as we'll get into today, no draft pick is guaranteed, period, point blank. Okay, whether it be first rounds all the way down to the 7th, none of that's guaranteed. What is guaranteed, if my team wins and they continue to win, that builds a winning culture, which is what I like, which is what we are trying to bounce back from these last few seasons, is the losing culture that we were building, right? That's what hangs over teams like Cleveland and teams like Jacksonville. They have losing cultures, that they are trying desperately to turn around. I personally don't want to end up on one of those, type deals. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. But that was a good win this week. That was but there are still, for the love of God, there are still problems, right? They can't. How you gonna roll into less than 6 minutes left in the game? You're up 34-13 and only win by a touchdown. Now everybody's gonna point fingers at the defense, but I'm gonna stand right here and point fingers at the offense, and mainly point fingers at Dirk Cutter with the inability to close out a game. The talent, for sure, on this team is on the offensive side of the ball. From your QB to your star wide receiver to your star running back to this, O-line that you're building, so on and so forth, right? You should be able to put together at least one good drive in the fourth quarter. And it don't seem like Dirk Cutter can do that. What do y'all think?
Hey, look. It seemed like he go away from his plays, man. It seemed like, okay, the aggressiveness. You gotta stay aggressive. If it got you there, stick with it. You gotta understand how to be cutthroat. The Dirk Cutter. You take the foot off the pedal. And I hate the Saints. God knows I hate them with all my heart. But when they get their foot on your neck, they rise into the ground until the last second go off the clock. And that's just something I think Dirk Cutter haven't grasped. I think he don't understand the part of putting somebody's head into the ground once you got them down. So I think that's the problem. It's almost dreadful, JR and Mike, when the last 10 minutes of the game come around for us, the Atlanta Falcons. It get dreadful. It gets scary, though. You know what I mean?
I mean, you roll into the fourth quarter, and your defense has held them to 6 points. 6 points. You know what I'm saying? And you give up 3 touchdowns in the fourth quarter. Like I said, most people are going to point at the defense. And look, by all means, the defense, should have held. But when you are on the field for almost the entire fourth quarter, you get gas, right?
Yeah. And I think a couple points on that, right? So it's funny, man, because watching the Broncos is like watching the Falcons in reverse. You might say, Mike Dub, what do you mean by that? It's like, it's got to be tough as a Broncos fan to have a team like the Broncos, good team, fundamentally team, missing Von Miller, missing a couple other guys.
Right.
But it's got to be frustrating to have a team that starts so slow and the quarterback Drew Lock just turns it on.
Oh yeah, right. Yeah, now that's
because they are the absolute opposite of us. Because we'll start fast, we'll blow a team out, and we can't keep them. They play, they didn't look unfazed at all, right? So I think the one thing about it is, again, we talked about it a little bit on our show last week. We played kind of our polar opposites a little bit. They had won, and let's not forget, this was a Broncos team that had won 3 out of its last 4 games.
For sure.
So this is a good team that we beat. But to your point specifically about Dirk Cutter, if Raheem Morris keeps winning, we have to ask ourselves, could Dirk Cutter potentially be retained? I don't think it's possible, to be honest with you, because the consummate mismanagement on offense is what will always put us, in these situations where we can't finish.
You about to get me fired up, man.
No, we
about to do it to me now. My blood pressure is bad, Mike.
There's a gentleman.
I understand what you're saying, but I don't know. Go ahead, Jay.
There's a gentleman on Twitter. I think his name's like the real Pat Man. He puts out some real good and interesting tweets.
Yeah, he do.
But he put out a tweet that said there's a scenario out there that Raheem Morris is retained as the head coach and Dirk Cutter is retained as the offensive coordinator. And I responded to him and I said, that's probably my worst fear in a sense. Right. I got nothing against Morris, and I've been saying that since they named him as, interim coach. I said, look, if he gets his team playing in the right direction and puts a competent, product out on the field, I got no problem with him being our head coach, especially being our head coach riding out the back end of Matt Ryan's career. Okay?
Right.
I'll say it straight up like that, right? And but my biggest problem is Dirk Cutter. As I think Woon Carter in a chat room already said, he says, I love when JR goes at Dirk Cutter. That'd be the highlight of my week. So apparently everybody knows how I feel about Dirk Cutter, right? Like it's not a mystery to anybody.
That's your boy.
Right. Yeah. Oh yeah. We're going to get into your boy here in a little bit. Anyway, okay. You can bring that up. Anyway, so my point is like Dirk Cutter, that was the problem we had in 2012 with Dirk Cutter. You would build these big leads, and then he couldn't sustain. He didn't make adjustments. He went away from his game plan. And whatever it was, whatever you wanted to saddle with him, in 2012 I was still like learning more about the game. So I heard a lot of people say, oh, well, Dirk Cutter just wasn't making adjustments or whatever. But it's almost like he goes too conservative in the second half of games.
Oh, man.
But if it wasn't for Drew Lock throwing that pick in the second half, that Ricardo Allen, hey, and shout out to Ricardo Allen for actually catching the ball. So, or being in a decent position to catch a ball.
I'll break it down later.
I want to hear from you on that one.
You're not ready to be a coach right now, Ricardo Allen, and I like it. You're not ready to be a coach yet. But anyway, keep going.
So, if it wasn't for Drew Lock throwing that pick, we could be talking about a completely different game at that junction.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? You're talking about momentum shifting and all this. I mean, we gave up. Somebody put it in chat. We gave up 3 touchdowns in 3 game minutes. That's ridiculous.
Oh, man. That's scary.
But I will say this, and I'll give this credit to Raheem Morris, Jeff Ulbrich, whoever needs it. When the game was on the line, they were blitzing. They were blitzing when that last drive. Where the Broncos were trying to tie it up or potentially win with a 2-point conversion. That last drive with a minute left, it's almost like they learned from their game in Detroit or with Detroit.
Yep.
They were blitzing the crap out of them. I mean, I saw Deion Jones coming in. I saw Foye Oluokun coming in. It was a thing of beauty. And I sat back. I was at a birthday party, right? A little kid. This is what I don't know if y'all know this or not, but when you have little children, you end up having to go to little children's birthday parties. Never in my life have I had to go to little children's birthday parties like I've had to this year, but that's okay, right? That's a whole different side. I'm at this little kid's birthday party. They got the TV set up on the porch with the game on. I'm standing next to a gentleman wearing a Philip Lindsay jersey, who's from Denver, and he's over here shaking his head, and I'm over here, my heart's just thumping out my daggum chest, going, "Oh, we about to screw this one up again." But the fact that they stayed aggressive made me think that there's a ray of hope, right? That Raheem Morris is learning, from his past, so to speak, and not just hanging on what Dan Quinn has put forth.
You know what? I completely agree, because my earlier point about Dirk Cutter was kind of predicated upon what I'm seeing, because I actually was going to dovetail over to that defense and talk about. I actually am not. I don't have any problem with the job that Jeff Ulbrich is doing with the defense, because he's helping a few guys shine that I've been seeing flash that I haven't really seen flash a lot that you talked about. Now we talk about another one of JL's boys, Kaminsky.
Oh, yeah.
Let me tell you something. I saw Kaminsky making plays all over the field on Sunday. Yeah. And to me, that makes me feel a little bit comfortable about the core of this defense, because our question was this: if it's a rebuild, if we tear everything down, if so-and-so has to go, this guy has to go, who are the guys that are going to actually flash in the game and put some good film on tape? And I think, like I said, Kaminsky has been impressive. Charles Harris, impressive. Michael Walker, I don't know if you noticed that hit he had on special teams when that got smoothed out, but I think our linebacker position is they make me feel good. I get excited. Talking about our linebacker core, because I think that we're just starting to scratch the surface on what could be really, really great for DBN Nation. And last but not least, before I turn it back over to JR, shout out to Raheem Morris saying the Dirty Birds are back. I love that word. Dirty Birds. It makes me it just get me back excited about why I followed this team to begin with. Anyway, the brotherhood was cool, but I much prefer to be a Dirty Bird.
Well, let's we've shot our opening salvo, so let's go ahead and jump into chat. Paris Green, Jaden Selfer, and Kojak Nantucket all said, "What's up, fellas? What's going on, gentlemen?"
What's up, Kojak?
Same thing with Woon Carter.
Jaden, all of them.
Yeah, all of them. Yabo Deezy was like, "Yo, yo, yo." Same thing with Speed Falcon for life. Kojak Nantucket, he's already talking about your boy TaKk McKinley.
Oh boy,
McClowney getting out of here. He even tipped us $10 to go ahead and talk about this. So we're gonna go ahead and talk about it. Old TaKk McClowney getting himself up out this team here.
Oh yeah.
Hey, y'all pushing Jay out to the edge. He trying not to use them words. But
I'm trying to be nice, but it is I am so glad that Raheem Morris, Rich McKay, whoever it is, had the stones to just go ahead and cut it.
Me too.
I don't know if it was. I'll tell you this flat out. It's okay. Before I go in on TaKk McKinley, because obviously I've never played the game. I don't know nothing about that aspect of it. But so before I go in, this coaching staff under Dan Quinn didn't do this man no favors, at all. You brought him in as an undersized defensive end. You kept messing with bulking him up, slimming him down, bulking him up, slimming him down. You didn't, his injuries obviously didn't help the situation, as far as all that, is considered. But it's like he never was able to find his groove, period, point blank. Now, that being said, he didn't help himself one bit with all of his antics. When we drafted that guy, and he had his explosion or whatever on the draft stage, I was like, okay, maybe we finally got took the Falcon filter off and got a dude who was a little bit crazy. But come to find out, he's just crazy. Right? He didn't bring nothing with it. He didn't bring. Yes, I know he had the most QB hits or QB pressures, whatever metric you want to attack onto him.
Yeah.
But from what no pun. I guess every pun intended. But what I didn't see when he was out on the field, him consistently affecting the game.
Right.
So now everybody want to talk about. And I was even one of them. You want to talk about, well, why did Thomas Dimitroff get fired? Vic Beasley, TaKk McKinley,
one, two.
Parade Jerry.
Yeah.
You know, Sam Baker's contract. I mean, I can keep going down the list, right?
Peter Cons.
Yeah. Peter Cons. Exactly. So, like, his drafting just wasn't consistent enough. And, which isn't all on TD. Obviously, the player has to, you can't hate on him for drafting Beasley in the first round, but not give him credit for drafting Grady Jarrett in the 5th round. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
A lot of this also has to do with the player themselves, but he seemed not to be able to identify people who really wanted it. You know, Speed Falcon for Life just put in there also Duke Riley and Isaiah Oliver.
Oh, yes, keep them coming. Yes.
You know, so that, right, we can go down this list for quite a while. But as far as TaKk McKinley is concerned, I hope that man finds whatever help he needs. You know, I know it was either not this past offseason, but maybe the offseason before. You know, he had some kind of run-in with the cops that ended up getting him detained. I don't think he actually got arrested or nothing like that.
Oh, yeah, they detained him, though.
But it was like a mental health thing, you know.
Yeah.
So, with that being said, I mean, I hope people are around him that are going to get him some, you know,
there you go.
proper care. Because I would like to see the man, like, succeed, right?
Yeah,
He's a hell of a football player.
Right. Go somewhere else and get your head on straight. Because, you know, your antics are going to make it hard for anybody to want to to swing at you. I'll be interested to see if anybody picks him up after 4 p.m. Tomorrow, like when he actually clears waivers. Because from my understanding, the money ain't next to nothing what he's owed. We've pretty much paid him everything that he's going to get. You know, so you know, somebody can take a swing at him and see if he can catch on. But I'm gonna go. But anyway, yes. Thank you, Kojak Nantucket, for tipping us on that one. But yes, we were definitely going to get into that one. Let's see some of these other ones. Speed Falcon says, if it wasn't for the Rico pick, we would only have 27 points. Dirk Cutter always trying to rely on the defense to win him games. Well, look, I'm going to go ahead and call it. At least the defense did win the game this time around. They didn't give it up. Anthony Wright says, you know, I'm glad we won, but the Denver game, we were up 27-6 with 5 minutes left in the third quarter. And Denver scored 21 points the rest of the way. And that's what they ultimately have to figure out, right? Is that. Yabo Deezy says, we just need some legit edge rushers and a free safety with more range. I think we've been saying that we needed a legit edge rusher since Abraham was here.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So, I agree.
Yabo.
Yeah.
Oh, Yabo.
Genuine Music says, sorry for my language, but why in the F can't we play football offense or defense in the last 12 minutes of a football game? Yeah, no, I'm with you. Yeah, I would. Yeah, I wish we could.
They start to fold up the tent before the capping trip is over. That's why.
Yeah, you go. No, that's like a good.
But that's a good point though.
Yeah, what they doing.
I said before, you got to look at it like this though. Like I said, the Broncos do the same thing we do. They just do it in reverse for whatever reason. Drew Lock, they're behind, but that's how they got the majority of their last 3 out of their 4 wins. They win. That's kind of what they do too. That's part of it. They just wake up late. And my God. If we don't ever have to guard Jerry Jeudy for the next, the next couple of seasons, I'll be completely okay.
Be good with that, yeah.
Man, that dude is nasty. When did Alabama turn into wide receiver U?
I have no idea.
Like I thought Alabama was defense and run the ball.
Yeah.
But yet you gonna produce what? Julio Jones, Jerry Jeudy, Calvin Ridley, Amari Cooper. Man. My God, that's
every year they put out
Foster, Ruggs, even Water. I think Water got a chance to be as good as any of them. To be honest,
yeah, no doubt.
Yeah,
but I will say this: as far as speaking on the lack of edge rushers, I do like what I'm seeing out of Charles Harris. Somebody, I think it was Anthony Wright. I need to give him props. He was calling it before the season even started that Charles Harris was going to get more playing time than TaKk McKinley and get more sacks than TaKk McKinley. Well, he definitely going to get, yeah. You right, Anthony. You won that bet. I'm glad I didn't bet you. because I'd be having to pay out right now.
Pay out, old Anthony.
Paris Green just tipped us $5. We appreciate you there, Paris. It says, why are none of these other guys not getting reps? I'm tired of Oliver getting lost in coverage. Seems all he is good at is tackling. All right, well, I'm glad. It's interesting that you bring that up because only one cornerback got 100% of the reps, and that was A.J. Terrell.
Okay.
He was the only one.
And he need him.
Right, and the rest of the time it was a split between DeQuez Denard, Isaiah Oliver, Kendall Sheffield, and Bleedy Ray Wilson.
Old Bleedy.
Right, and so they did, mix up that other cornerback spot quite a bit. And I think, as much as I hate to say it, limiting Isaiah Oliver and hiding him at the nickel spot has seemed to produce better results.
Yeah, right. Especially in tackling, like she said, like Paris said, tackling he definitely open field tackling like no other right about now.
Right.
That is positive.
Man. Hey, and you know what? We'll stop. We'll give him his just due because here, pound for pound, we are harder on Isaiah Oliver than anywhere else. And the special commenter, I won't name drop you this week. Y'all will see him in the comments because I'm sure he's watching this video.
Oh, no question about it.
Yeah, no doubt.
We do give Isaiah Oliver his props as well too, because I know that special person likes to comment on our stuff and say that, oh, Isaiah Oliver, this, that. I don't think that he's as good as you say he is in the comments, but I will give him props for the last 2 games. His tackling has been good.
Oh yeah.
His ball placement has been good. He literally, for the first time this last game, he looked like the guy that we saw on those Falcons clips that came out from training camp. Remember when we saw him running step with Julio, batting the ball, and we thought, oh, Isaiah Oliver's going to make the turn. But again, I'm not willing to say that he's willing to be, our starting corner because he's not anywhere near that. But again, man, if you come on our field, you got a Falcons hat on, you playing defense, and you're putting us in positions to not lose a game, we're going to shout you out.
Yeah, no doubt.
No question about it.
Like, look. At this junction, it could be just as simple as you have like a scenario where the ball just starts rolling downhill on you, and you don't ever seem like you can start making any progression. So if moving him to nickel starts to build his confidence and allows him to play with more confidence,
there you go, JR.
I'm down with it. Okay, I got no problem. Like when we signed DeQuez Denard. I know he's made his bones at nickel, but, they said that he could play outside. Same thing, Speed Falcon brought up Kendall Sheffield. He's still struggling on the outside, but I know he's also coming back from an injury, so he's still maybe trying to get back into, game shape mode, whatever you want to call it. Sometimes when you come back from an injury, Keanu Neal's a perfect example. He's finally starting to look like Keanu Neal.
Yep.
He's finally starting to look like a player. Hey, look, he got a rough in the, unnecessary roughness. I was like, oh, he's back. All right, good.
In a long
Kiki
time.
we know. That's the Kiki we know. That's right.
That's the headhunter we drafted. So
well, I'm gonna say this real quick. Then I'm gonna pass it over to you, Mike. That outside corner is kind of like running back. So you mentioned that, JR. They keep rotating them over there on that other side. But outside corner is kind of like running back. The more you in there, the better you get into your groove. And you keep switching it around like that could possibly lead to fourth quarter comebacks. If that makes sense there, pound for pound family. You can't keep rotating. You got to let them stay in, let them get in a groove and start to feel the field. Kind of like a running back. Go ahead, Mike.
That's a great point. And I love the analogy about running back because you're right. It is one of those, you got to get the carries. Kind of hard to get in the groove if you ain't got the carries. Love it. Now, one thing I will say, though, I have noticed whoever brought up about Sheffield struggling, I thought that was a good observation because it's pretty obvious to us that I think I'll tell you why I'm not mad with the way Sheffield is struggling because, to be honest with you, he's got all of the ball skills in the world and he's got all of the speed in the world. It's just going to be a matter of continuing to give him the reps and putting him, I would say, where I would like to see him at an optimal position when we're at our best is when Sheffield is sliding into the inside. I thought he did really well his rookie year on the inside. So I would say that, if we start to look ahead to next year, finding an additional outside corner to go with AJ Terrell will be something to watch because, again, DeQuez Denard is on a 1-year deal.
Yeah.
So we're still going to be looking for a playmate for all AJ Terrell because we've seen that AJ Terrell he fits the bill. And shout out to AJ Terrell for being the #1 rated rookie corner right now with a 70% PFF rating right now, because a lot of people said, oh, CJ Henderson, oh, Jeff Okudah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, this guy, that guy.
They were mad at old J on draft day, man.
They were mad at
boy.
Man. So, hey, that's all. Get a man a little bit of love. All I'm saying is AJ Terrell is panning out. I'm not saying what he could be, what his ceiling is. I don't want to put that pressure on him. I just want to see him keep balling, keep progressing, getting better every week. So,
Good point, Mike. Good point, baby.
Right. I could, completely agree as far as what it's funny how leading up to draft day, Okudah was the clear #1.
Yeah.
And it was a toss up between Henderson and Terrell, right? And that was the census. And as far as I know, I haven't heard Okudah's name like at all.
Yeah. He'll TaKk McKinley right about now.
Right. So I mean, again, but that's what goes to prove what I was saying earlier. When people talk about, oh, we shouldn't be winning these games, we're messing with our draft stock. I don't care about that draft stock. Now look, don't get me wrong. When this season is over and we get into the off season and our draft position is locked in, yeah, of course I'm gonna be like, all right, well here's who I think we could get at this spot, Right. But that's the content, right? That's what we do as fans. But I am not giving up winning games just for what might be a potential in college, right?
That's right.
So, and I mean, unless you have, I may make Chad explode here, but unless you have a clear need at quarterback, okay, which we obviously don't have, that's the only time I think that you really need to be worried about your draft stock, because the only way you're going to get a serviceable or potentially franchise-changing quarterback is within the first 3 picks.
Yeah,
top
3.
Right.
Top
Very
3,
rarely do you get a Russell Wilson. You know what I'm saying? In second, third round, whatever round he was picked in. Very rarely do you pull that off. Very rarely do you get a Tom Brady, obviously, in the 7th round. That stuff just don't happen, right?
Dak Prescott or Kirk Cousins.
Exactly.
Very, very rare.
Right. And even you can even argue that Prescott and Cousins aren't necessarily right. That's locks, So, needless to say, other than that, the draft is what it is. Like, you can plainly look at, I use it as the model because obviously they've won so much. You can plainly look at the Patriots. They could care less about their draft. Yeah. That's just not the way Belichick builds his teams. So anyway, All right, let's jump into. Let's see. Anthony Wright says, TaKk McKinley not only pissed off the fans, or pissed off at the fact that the Falcons didn't pick up his option. He felt threatened when the team traded for the Charles Harris. I think that's a legit point. That's a legit.
That's what we wanted anyway. If the Dolphins wouldn't have railroaded us, come on now.
Exactly, and that draft. Let's go ahead and talk about that draft. It hasn't necessarily. Other than T.J. Watt, which I still wish this team would have taken T.J. Watt. Other than T.J. Watt, Taco Charlton hadn't produced anything. Neither has you just named the guy. My mind went blank. Taco Charlton hadn't produced anything. TaKk McKinley hadn't produced anything. Charles Harris hasn't necessarily produced anything either.
Yeah, Charles Harris. Yeah.
Like in a consistent nature, right? We're gonna see. What he does, but Speed Falcon says, what do y'all think of Patrick Surtain?
Who? Surtain?
Was that number 81 on the Broncos?
No. He went college. He went college. Patrick Surtain.
Okay.
Cornerback, Alabama.
That's his daddy, J.R. You talking about?
Oh, okay. I got you. No, I've got as I've said before, I'm not really keyed in on college yet. As it gets closer to the end of the season, I'll start looking that way. Let's see. Speed Falcon says, we all want Dirt Cutter gone. Terror Falcons. He says he hates that dude. Yeah, me too. I want him gone, but at this point, I will say this. If we're keeping Matt Ryan and Matt Ryan wants him here, I need the last few years of Ryan's career to be somewhat smooth, I guess. I don't know. If we keep Morris.
Add some motion. Can we add motion to the offense? What's wrong with
Okay, well, I will say this. Look,
4 or 5 times.
Something I did notice, and I found a website that broke it down. So far, about 10 to 12% of our plays this year have been no huddle. And no huddle out of the shotgun.
Oh, okay.
Okay,
Yeah,
so
baby.
for the people wanting, Ryan to do more no huddle, he seems to be doing a little bit more of that. And we are seeing a lot more, not a lot, but we're seeing a good bit more of Matty Wheels. It seems like every week he picks up a crucial first down or something like that.
He's getting faster and faster.
Yeah, well,
I love it.
I mean,
I love it.
he's getting as fast as I'm gonna get, which to say ain't. But
Okay.
But I will say this: he has improved that aspect of his game since Shanahan has come here. Like when Shanahan came here, it's almost like it opened up his eyes, right? And was like, okay, well maybe I need to work on that aspect of it, and he has. And so it'll be interesting to see how long he can keep that going.
Be strong.
Yeah, be strong. Appreciate you tipping us there. It says,
Appreciate it.
he says, in my opinion, we should sign a veteran quarterback after Matt Ryan retires. Depending on the
Be
situation.
strong.
You know what I'm saying? Like if there's a veteran okay, perfect example. Right now, everybody wanted him here in Atlanta, but how many of y'all still want Cam Newton? I mean, I ain't trying to dump on nobody, but it's not like he's lighting the world on fire up there in New England, right? So
I think I see what B Strong trying to say. Hey, B Strong want us to sign a veteran QB, but draft somebody to sit a low price veteran QB and somebody to sit behind him, kind of like what Miami just did with Tua.
Okay, now,
that's what B Strong.
If that
about, I think. I hope that's what B Strong.
In that aspect, I'll take that all day long. I am not necessarily wanting to have to rely on a rookie quarterback right out the gate, right?
That's right.
Let's see who TB Thrent. TB3 Int. I don't know. Yeah. He says, we need to draft a free safety next year, first round. Ricardo Allen can't cover the whole field. Now, I agree with that. That's like if you asked me at the beginning of this past offseason who I wanted, it was I wanted a free safety in the first round.
But hold on. Hold on. I'm feeling real Lee Corso-ish right now on that not so fast. Right?
Oh, okay.
I think I don't know why. It just makes. But when we think about free safety, right? I think that this draft, he just brought up a good point. This draft is going to be a little bit thicker because with this COVID season, right? With a lot of these guys playing in conference schedules, a lot of guys playing starting later in the season, all of that kind of stuff. I think it's really going to be hard to gauge the quality of some of these players, to be honest with you, because free safety is a good position. Free safety is a position that I would be hesitant to go with the next ball hawking free safety, because let me ask you something right now. And Jimbo, this is just a college question right now. Are there any free safeties right now in college that just stick out to you that are just, everybody's talking about? Like, you know what I mean? I would say no, but I mean, is there anybody that just there's this free safety that everybody has to have?
I mean, there's only one, and he's hurt right now because of the motorcycle accident, and that's LeCount, the University of Georgia All-American. But far as just a plethora of them, no, it's not, Mike. I mean, it's not that many.
So on that same point, I think that, to be honest with you, you start talking about salary cap season, okay? Salary cap next season going down, concessions down. Free safety is going to be a position that we really are going to have to watch with this Atlanta Falcons team because, one, I don't see a lot of guys in the draft that are just showing enough good. And I don't really see a lot of guys right now with the cap that we'll be able to fit in and sign a max guy that's going to come in and maximize our team.
And that's another thing, that free safety money is high. It's up there. It's kind of like quarterback. If you draft that free safety, he's going to have to play. He can't sit behind nobody because his cap hit is going to be pretty hit.
Yeah, you dead right on that. And we're gonna get into his comment. Caught me off guard.
You laugh at JR, man.
I was laughing. Okay, Diedrich Martin said Todd Gurley is still faster than Brian Hill. What Todd Gurley you watching? Because
no,
I'm sorry, man. I went back and watched that game 3 times because my initial thought was I was tired of seeing Todd Gurley. Then I thought to myself, okay, I'm being too hard, right? I'm being too hard. And granted, the run game again. Another game where the run game was nothing.
Dismal.
Right. But it seems like the only time Todd Gurley has any burst is when we're close to the goal line.
Yeah.
That's it. That seems like it's the only time he's interested in running the ball. Like, you go back and watch that game, everybody wants to talk about Todd Gurley as a receiver. There's this one play where they're trying to do what looks to me like a wheel route with the running back. And Todd Gurley does his block, goes the leak out, and then jogs and almost seems surprised that the ball was coming at him.
Yeah.
I mean, wow, right? And as soon as he caught the ball, he got tackled.
His speed inside the 20s. It's not that it's almost like he's loafing a little bit.
Right. And so, it seems like he only gets revved up when like the run that he scored a touchdown on. I mean, I ain't taking away the man scored. He's scored what, 10 touchdowns?
Yeah, we ain't hating on him. No, we ain't hating on him.
But I just bring him in when we get within the 10-yard line, 10, 15-yard line. Then you can bring him in. Other than that, I put Ito in there, put Olesen in there, put Brian Hill in there. Right. Paris Green tips $2 and says, "Do y'all think Ben Kirk could step up after Matt Ryan?" I'll tell you this: I think Ben Kirk should have been your backup this year. I'm not 100% sure why we still have Matt Schaub. That's just my opinion.
Take about $2.3 million off that salary cap.
Hello. So, yeah, I mean, it's a right. I don't know if he could step up and play more than about 2-3 games. You see, it's hard for me to say that, right? Because I haven't seen him play. And
you say he got to put down a video game. That
Fortnite or what it was.
Yeah. JL say he got to put down Fortnite.
Right.
I mean,
hey, if he wants to be, and next year it's either for me, next offseason, whoever the coach or whatever the situation is going to be a put up or shut up type situation. With Ben Kirk. Because they definitely shouldn't be bringing back Matt Schaub after next season. Let's see what else we got. Speed Falcon says, we passed up on Antonio Winfield and Jeremy Chin. That was the other name, Jeremy Chin. That was the one I was.
Oh, man.
God.
Like, I would have loved.
We wanted him. We did a show on him. Back in April. But,
right.
he was one of our top rated safeties.
Right, exactly.
He's good right now, too.
Brandon Levy said he wanted Delpit or Winfield.
Yeah.
I would have taken Delpit. I think Delpit, didn't he get injured?
Yeah. But he got it done.
Yeah, okay. But he's still good. So let's see. Trying to pick. Okay. TV says our running back group is mediocre. There is no way in hell I would have brought Brian Hill back and Ito Smith. It's just not it. We need to stick your foot in the ground, cut up. Look, as long as we got Dirk Cutter running this offense, I don't want to put any money in the running backs.
Yeah, you probably could have brought anybody back with Dirk Cutter back there.
That's the part that made me real confused why we even signed Gurley to begin with, other than a PR move. I understood the PR move part of it, right? I got that aspect. But other than that, I saw no reason with Dirk Cutter running your offense why you even paid $6 million to a back at all.
Yeah. Could be without Ito too if he ain't gonna play him.
Exactly.
Could have done without Ito.
Yeah, right. He made Ito disappear. Yeah, he's too versatile of a back to be just not dressing out. Anyway,
I agree completely. We could probably sit here and do a whole show on that, and I think we have from time to time.
Oh no, yeah, no question.
Brandon Levy says Gurley is what Bettis was later in his career. I'm assuming he's talking about Jerome Bettis. I don't think he's that big.
He ain't that big. He ain't that slow either, though. But he's creeping up on it.
But I understand what you mean as far as it seems like he's only good for scoring touchdowns, which is a useful role. It just ain't worth $6 million to me.
No,
that's just
right.
That's where I'm at there.
And the way I see it is, I see Gurley like another guy who wore a Rams helmet and was really good for the Rams, but came to the Falcons and gave us mediocre runs. And of course, that's none other than Steven Jackson. I'm not saying he's Steven Jackson. He's a little bit now. You want to go who's fast and who's not? Who's faster, Steven Jackson or Todd Gurley? That's more of a fair comparison. Brian Hill. And to be honest, I'm not going to go hard on Brian. I think Brian Hill is a really good running back, and I feel like if you give Brian Hill a head of steam, he more than likely is going to run through somebody.
Yeah, yeah.
And his hands are bricks, big bricks. He was cinder blocks. He got cinder blocks for hands, but the boy can run through people, at any given time.
I will say this, though. It seems like one of the main things that they trust Gurley with over anybody else on that running back room, and probably the reason why he's still getting as much play as he is they seem like they trust him to block for Matt Ryan. And
he's a good third down blocker.
And in a dirt cutter run offense, your running back's got to block.
Yeah, that's right.
Like, that's how you get these, these deep balls and these 6 and 7 step drops and stuff like that. You got to have the back in there protecting.
That's right.
And so, speaking of that, how about you? Let's go ahead and start talking about your boy.
What's up, man?
The first your boy. How about old Olamide Zaccheaus? Boy.
Hey, but see, JR, that's Mike boy.
Oh, that's Mike's boy.
But my boy is Christian Blake.
I knew your boy was Christian Blake.
That's my dog.
Over number 13. Like,
yeah.
Look, I have to take some heat on that one. Like, early in the offseason, I thought you was crazy.
Y'all were rolling me good.
That was a hell of a take. You're right.
I mean,
thank you.
That was I thought you was just gone. I was just going to let you have it, right? I was going to let you just run with that one because I think after watching these last few games with Christian Blake, I really think that he is one of those guys that was straight up and down hurt with not having a preseason.
That's you right. There you go, JR.
I think had we had a preseason and had they had more opportunities to actually get like game speed type reps going, and had he had chances to get reps, with more reps with the first team, he may not be as much of a surprise as it seems to be, right? Because
y'all about to get excited over here, man.
Right. Yeah, he look.
Right now, let's stop here. Right, let's talk about this. Go ahead, keep going, Jeff.
When he made that when he laid out and caught that ball and then jumped up and did that little shoulder shimmy thing, I was like, all right there, Christian Blake. All right there, number 13.
Right.
Go ahead.
I'm gonna get Christian Blake on this show. You watch what I tell you, man.
Hey, and let me tell you this right now, since we're going superlatives in the receiver position, because I gotta put them together, because you talked about, y'all call him Olamide Zaccheaus. I call him Oz. Falcons site, they call him the Wizard of Oz. They said the Wizard of Oz, right?
That's right.
Let me tell you something. What they had was the Wizard of Oz, but what they forgot to put in there was the Jet as well. Let's talk about the Jet first. Let's give Julio Jones credit.
Dude, I mean,
let me tell you something. I'm gonna tell you something right now. Power family, let me tell you something. Julio Jones said, "Hey man, y'all want to grant me a wish for Christmas? Give me single coverage. You want to know why? Because every time you get that guy single coverage, you know what he do? Boy, he eat. So if you wonder what kind of luxury is, if you need another example to have Julio Jones as a receiver, the way he broke in and broke out really quick with single coverage. Another team this season, you'll never see it again. It's almost like looking at the solar eclipse that happened a couple years ago, where it only happened. They single cover Julio Jones and they paid him. So that's one. Jet. Also, Olamide Zaccheaus, love to see it. I think he started out quick. Glad they schemed him in. I think that we got as much out of Olamide Zaccheaus as we could. I think those 4 catches, 20 yards in the first half was as much as we could get out of him because they schemed for him, and he was like, "Oh, okay, let me go back to being the 5th receiver."
Right.
But again, man, like I said, great performance by all of the receivers, and let's not forget him because we're hard on him. Brandon Powell also.
Oh yeah, he got him him a touchdown.
Good job, Powell.
Great job.
Yeah, he was that was a pleasant surprise.
It was.
What I am liking, at least it seems like, and it's crazy that it's taken Matt Ryan, Dirk Cutter, whoever, I don't know at this junction, this many games, 9 games in, they're finally starting to spread the love around, and it's not just honing in on Julio Jones every play or honing in on Calvin Ridley on every play, so it's nice to see some of these other guys. Like for a while there, Gage was looking like he was a legit number 3. Now it really looks like it could be like a number, like our number 3 wide receiver is 3 people.
Right.
It's like
Right.
Zaccheaus and Blake and Gage. Like it really depends on like where the coverage is going at that point, I guess.
Yeah. Matt Ryan be spreading that ball around, don't he?
Yeah,
Shout out
exactly.
to Matt
That's
Nice, baby.
right.
Go
That's
to the
what.
open man, baby.
Let's see here. Okay, we're gonna get back into chat for just a second. Speed
Okay.
Falcon says our wide receivers are loaded. Yep, that's exactly right. We need a West Coast OC. Matt Ryan's best years when he's playing in a West Coast scheme. I can agree with that as far as like scheme goes. He does work better with West Coast concepts, like a lot of in breaking routes and things of that nature. Let's see here. What else we got? CDX for Life says bad play calling. Again, that's the real problem. If we can get a little more, we'd be scoring 40 every game. Now, somebody said something earlier. It was Ghost Peppers. Ghost Pepper says Gurley is struggling with yards per carry because of the lack of innovation with the running game. Every time Gurley comes into the game, opponents know the Falcons are just going to pound Gurley up the middle. Now, I agree with that as far as
it's a great point.
100%.
Right. There's no innovation in Cutter's run game.
No,
it's up the middle or it's a toss.
That's part of the problem.
That's it,
Definitely part of the problem.
Anthony Wright says, Jimmy, I have a question. What are your thoughts on us being totally healthy and controlling our destiny in the NFC South?
Ooh.
Oh, Anthony Wright, look here, man. With a totally healthy Atlanta Falcons team, your expectation before the season is the expectation you should have. They should start to come back to you just like you was like a dream, right? So, healthy Atlanta Falcons team. Don't. Okay, this little run, this 3 out of the 4 games win. Don't be surprised. You know why? Because we are healthy. Now the NFC South is kind of like a blur. We kind of seen that this past game with the Saints and the Bucks. It's kind of like a blur. Some of these people are not who we think they are. And a healthy Atlanta Falcon team, which was built just to compete in the NFC South, because year in and year out, the NFC South produced some of the best teams in the NFL.
Oh, yeah.
Don't be surprised if a healthy Atlanta Falcon team can compete with the NFC South and do their thing. And it's rivalry games coming out of the NFC South. And a healthy Atlanta Falcon team, rivalry game, we might and built to win in the NFC South.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Anthony Wright, you stay tuned because we might be doing some things, that big dog. I'm very confident about that. I appreciate the question, man.
If nothing else, we can definitely play spoiler.
All day long.
Right.
All day long.
Right.
So, but it's this our bye for us comes at a real good time this year.
Yeah.
Because on the docket, like I said last week, on the docket you still got the Saints twice, the Bucks twice, and the Chiefs as being real, the real meteor schedule left, the real threats, so to speak. And if Raheem Morris navigates this well, I see no reason why you don't just take that interim label off and let it ride. But yeah, I mean, I think a healthy and confident team is a team that the rest of this NFC South should be worried about. We're not mathematically eliminated yet. Now granted, we got a straight up uphill battle. You have no room for error. And, my opinion is that, the likelihood of us, getting to the playoffs is pretty slim, but it's not out of the question yet. And if in this bye time that we have, this break that the guys have, if a guy like Marlon Davidson can get himself going in the right direction and actually get on the field,
right. Well, and let me add something to that as well, because two things. I think the only team, I look at this schedule, I look at our previous schedule, and the only team that really just beat us was the Packers. I would say every other game we were in, it was a toss-up, classic NFL game. They made plays, we didn't make plays. So if you look at it, the team that we're seeing now, the team that we've seen the last 3 or 4 weeks, is exactly who we thought they were, to your point, right? This is the exact same team. A healthy Atlanta Falcons team, able to compete, able to find their groove, and we're doing it in different ways. We didn't expect Debo to blitz as much as he did. We didn't expect Debo to possibly or potentially, like Wallace Smith said in the last show, potentially get 10 sacks, possibly. I wouldn't say it's out the realm of possibility because of the way we use it, the growth of a Luakon, all of that kind of stuff. So I think it's two things. One, like I said, a healthy Falcons team is worth watching. I'm not going to sit here and say that we can't be in. The only team that really just gives me nervousness, like the Packers, is the Chiefs, just because they've earned that right? The rest of these guys, it will be a toss-up. You look at the way we play the Panthers, who have played everybody else. So let's look at the way the Panthers play everybody else. And let's look at the way they played against us. Mike. So, my thing is this, though. And the second thing, just about the bye week, and I'll be really quick about it, is we can't beat ourselves on the bye week. Again, keep yourself safe. Keep yourself within protocol, please. Various entertainment places within the Atlanta area, please. If you see these guys coming in, say, nope, you got to turn around. You got a game next week. You got games going on. We don't want to expose you. You need to get out of here, right? So if you are restaurant owners or entertainment owners, y'all hit our messages and let me know if y'all see any of these guys, and we'll call them.
Send them boys back home. Give them a takeout menu and send them back home. That's what.
That's right. Curbside, only curbside.
Curbside. That's it. Speed Falcon says we barely beat the Broncos, Panthers, and the Vikings. Not to mention we lost to the effing Lions. And what makes you think we can beat the Aints and the Bucks and the Chiefs? Look, hey, you got every qualm, you got every right to have that thought process and that opinion. But all I'm saying is that we have shown that we should be able to play with these guys, right?
Exactly.
Should be able to play with these teams. Anonymous says, if there's another missed game to COVID, I think that we make the playoffs with the new format. Yeah, that new format's kind of interesting. They were talking about potentially expanding it, but it sounded like they were only going to expand it if there were meaningful games missed.
Yeah, that's it.
So unless we start winning now, I don't know if we can put ourselves in that position to be one of the meaningful games, right?
And one of the real games got to be canceled, right?
I think so. It's something along that lines.
I don't know.
Let's see. Uncle Javon says we beat the Saints out the bye, and I'll start looking shaky. Okay, I'm guessing he'll start getting amped up or whatever.
Okay, that's fair.
Let's see here. Melvin Emery says, no matter how the season goes, I believe Raheem Morris should be the head coach. I will say this: if he keeps them playing consistent and keeps them playing with a fire, I have no problem giving them a year a full year. I ain't got no problem with it.
Yeah,
let's see. Anthony Wright. He says, JR, this question is for you. Should we re-sign Keanu Neal? I'd like for us to bring him back, but what are your thoughts? My thoughts on Keanu Neal is, A, obviously it depends on how he finishes out the season, but B, more importantly, I would bring him back on a 1-year deal and heavily incentivized, or maybe even a 2-year deal. I will say this: I'm not going to get into a bidding war for Keanu Neal. You see what I'm saying? I'm not if somebody out there really wants to pay him, then I'm not going. Like I said, I'm not going to get in a bidding war for him.
He's going to be due safety money, which is different money.
Right.
Y'all go look it up, man.
Oh, yeah, it is.
Different money, brother.
Yeah. Brandon Levy says, P for mayor. Well, I don't know about it. Look, I don't know about trying. Yeah. We'll do our civic duty. we'll do our civic, right? Let's see what else we got here. Somebody Uncle Javon says the division will start looking shaky, not me. Okay, now thank you for clarification.
Okay, thank you.
Sometimes I, sometimes I get a little cross-eyed when I start reading this stuff.
It's all good.
Speed Falcon says he doesn't want Raheem Morris back next year. It's the same thing over and over again. Start slow and then have some type of hot streak to end. Our season is already over. Hey, you know what? Again, Speed, you're making valid points.
Hey, that's a great point.
Right.
Do you want to stress? Do we want to stress in different ways? I feel you, Speed Falcon. Do we want to stress the way we've always known, where we start fast, where we build up hope, where we feel like our team has sealed a deal and they let us down? You're right. Hey, to be honest with you, if you're getting those vibes, that's worth listening to.
Right. I mean, I'm not gonna sit here and tell you that you ain't right, or that you shouldn't be thinking that way. Duncan the Delinquent. What's up, Duncan? He said, should we re-sign Todd Gurley for backup money? If he wants anything north of $2 million a year, no.
If he hit that touchdown incentive, we ain't gonna be able to afford
Nah.
him. Well, we probably still ain't. But if he hit that touchdown incentive, he gonna want an extra $2.5 million.
Of course.
That's just point blank period. We ain't gonna be able to afford him.
Then Jay Nudie says, if you can't close out games and play with a dog mentality, you will never win. Also need on the field leader who is that guy. Right now, the closest thing I think you got to an on field leader is Grady Jarrett or a Debo on the defense with that dog mentality.
That's about it.
Let's see. Wallace Smith. Hey, what's going on, Wallace?
What's up, Wallace?
Big dog.
Don't we still have a fifth-year option on Neal? No, we declined his fifth-year option. We declined his. No, we picked up his, but his is part of the reason why we declined TaKk. That's what it was. He's in his fifth year, I think. Ain't that right? Somebody have to check that for me real quick.
No, Wallace, come on, Wallace. You know this.
Yeah.
Don't even come up in here playing games, doing that stuff. You know this, Wallace, because you're gonna come back and tell us the answer here in about 5 minutes.
Right, just
Go
tell
ahead,
us
tell y'all. This is his fifth year.
That's what I was thinking too. And even C. Glenn says I think this is Neal's fifth year. I think so. I think we picked it up, and that's the reason why we didn't move on from him. It's because you were gonna pay him regardless. Speed Falcon says I'm still having the Dan Quinn TD vibes. I understand. I mean, hopefully by the end of the year, maybe Morris can shake those vibes for you. Talking about the Dirty Bird is back,
Exactly.
Let's see. T-Ben says exactly our coaches hold us back from being competitive. I mean, you can make that. Like I said, you can make that argument. Yabo Deezy says Foye is growing into a leader. I do like what I'm seeing out of Foye.
We love him. We love him.
I thoroughly enjoy what I'm seeing out of Foye as far as like him blitzing, him covering. He really seems like he's developing into a do-it-all back, which is great to see. And he's got some size on him. I like that he's not the Dan Quinn typical undersized player trying to be out there playing.
Right.
M. Davenport says Tampa can be beat. Look at what the Saints did to Tom Brady. Can Raheem Morris outcoach BA? I think Raheem Morris can outcoach BA. I've never been all that impressed with Bruce Arians. Like, I think he does a good job on offense, but as far as like long-term success, he doesn't seem to be able to establish that. Like, he had that issue out in Arizona. They would have offensive explosions, but if you could get to his quarterback because they have those long drawn out plays, when we play Tampa, we have got to get to Tom Brady. That's as simple as that.
Right. Exactly.
You get to him, and then that's where it's going to be live or die there. Jaron Wade says ever since four had them inside. I loved him. Since I have no clue what you were talking about there, Jerron Wade. If you can restate that,
Is it Foye being on the inside? You've loved it ever since. I mean,
maybe that's what it is.
If it is, because I am not looking at the chat, we've loved him ever since then. I think if you tune into this show, we've talked about the growth of Foye Oluokun from the guy that we were a little bit unsure about to the guy that we're thinking that
he's come in and made you completely utterly forget about Devondre Campbell. I'll tell you that.
And let me tell you something. I'll go as far to say, we thought that Ricardo Allen was the brains of the defense. The brains is really for Oluokun. The new brains. Yeah. And a little bit smarter brain there, to be honest with you. Yale. I mean, come on, guys. We got a guy from Yale.
Oh yeah, no
Ivy
doubt.
League right now who could be a Pro Bowler. I think it's the best of both worlds. It's kind of coming together.
The guy like T. Bent just brought it up. The guy I'm excited about is a Michael Walker. If Michael Walker can develop into a solid third option, then I think your linebacker core is set for a while. Vlad Teppa says Foye needs to be the starting Mike and Debo needs to be the starting Will. I think in the type of defense we run, it's just real almost interchangeable in that aspect.
They move them around. They move them around a little bit too, though. Oh, that's good. You
right. Exactly.
Okay, Togan says, do you guys do live play-by-play reaction on Sundays? My heart couldn't take it. we would be kicked off the proverbial air
Yeah, I
so
was about to
fast
say,
because
you don't want-
I'd be
you don't-
dropping F-bomb. No, y'all don't want to
You
hear
don't
me
wanna
do no
see that.
live.
I don't have the heart. I don't
But
have the
speaking of that, now I will say this for y'all those that devil in the dabble in the TikTok world.
Oh, yeah,
you can
yeah.
now follow us on TikTok. I set us up a account there. I'm gonna be, we'll be giving like quick hits and quick thoughts and clips from shows and stuff like that. So if you're on TikTok, you can follow us there. Obviously, pound for pound ATL. Let's see. We're gonna grab a few more, and then we're gonna get out of here. Brandon Levy says the Saints have looked bad too. Keep it real. Yeah, they've looked inconsistent. R. Smith L says if Raheem can lead us to at least an 8-8, I feel like he'll have earned at least 3 years as our head coach. That's what I've been saying. 7-9, 8-8, 9-7, somewhere in that realm, and have the team playing at a consistent level. I'll take him as the head coach.
Finish out Matt Ryan and Julio Jones too. Go ahead.
Right, that's kind of more or less where I'm at. I just don't think bringing in a new head coach, and I could be completely and utterly wrong, right? I'll admit it right here. I'm no fortune teller, soothsayer, nothing like that. But I just feel like you bring in a brand new head coach on the back end of Matt Ryan and Julio Jones' career. I just don't think it's going to work out the way we want it to.
But you are the hardest man in show business. Hardest working man in show business.
Well, I don't know about all that.
Nobody say. Go ahead, JR. You humble, but go ahead.
Okay, Jay Nudie said we're going to hit last three, and then we're going to wrap it up. Jay Nudie says it's just depressing. We can't finish games. That's the only thing wrong with the Falcons. Yep, you are correct there, sir. I have never have a safe feeling with a lead. Brandon Levy says the O-line with Lindstrom and McGarry and Carpenter is playing better. They look strong. Yeah, I'll give you that. If y'all ain't seen Brian Baldinger's breakdown on that touchdown run, go look at that.
Grade A, baby.
That's it. Dingus McGoober. I just wanted to say his name. Dingus McGoober says we have to stop playing soft defense as soon as we get a lead. I don't understand. Yeah, see, that's what I was talking about. They were bringing the heat on that last drive, and look what happened. It worked out well. Raheem Morris, Speed Falcon says Raheem Morris is fine, but he is still part of the Dan Quinn era, and we need to start fresh. Yeah, I mean, look, I'm definitely not going to try to convince you, Speed. Like, I understand that concept, right?
Of course.
Yeah. So it is what it is. All right, gentlemen, let's go ahead and wrap this up. Everybody, we appreciate y'all hanging out with us tonight. It was a lot of fun. Obviously, we got a bye week. Look out for tomorrow for the new fantasy show that Mike and Jim have been doing. As always, on Thursdays, I'll be dropping another head coach's profile. So I think y'all will like this next one that's coming up. So that'll be coming out on Thursday. Since there's no game on Sunday, we don't know if we'll have a show on Saturday. And depending on what happens, we may not stream on Tuesday, obviously, because there's nothing really to talk about. But if something comes up and something happens, we will be live and doing all the good fun stuff. You can follow me on Twitter. I'm at Grim1128, GRIMM1128. Jim?
You can catch me at Jimmy Obama, JIMMYOBAMA, Jimmy Obama. Mike?
Hey, man, follow your boy on Twitter, man. Your boy Big Mike Dub, MIKE_DUB. Give me a shout. Give me a follow. I'll follow back.
There you go. All right, folks, and as always, Falcons fans, rise up.
Rise up.
See y'all
Dirty
later, man.
Bird Nation.